I was waiting to see where you were.
Pledge. A loving and gracious Heavenly Father, God, we thank you for this day, the blessings that you bestow upon us on a daily basis. We ask that you teach us to follow your love for other people. Give us guidance, give us wisdom, and give us understanding as we continue to move forward. In thy precious name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Welcome to the 2018 State of the City. We as a community have a very bright future. And tonight, we will highlight some of the things that are going on. But I can tell you, I could not be more proud than to be the mayor of this wonderful, wonderful city we call North Charleston. Our city is a modern, diverse community with the quality of life increasing year after year. I first ran for mayor to work for the citizens of North Charleston to make our city a better place. In the mid-90s, North Charleston lacked vision, character, and an identity. A holistic approach has led us to where we are today. We've added recreational and cultural amenities, increased our park system and green space, and have continued to attract high-quality jobs for individuals at every educational level. This is how your city works for you. We'll leave the negative stuff to the naysayers. I'm here today to tell you the good news, the things that make our city great. For the first 35 years of our city's history, we lacked access to the Cooper River. The banks of the river were lined with industry and a shipyard. Turning the blight of the Navy base closure into an asset, the city reclaimed a portion, creating Riverfront Park. Today, we have one of the best green spaces in the Lowcountry and an unmatched location for large-scale events. Large events like High Water Festival are attracting national acts and first-time visitors to the park. But I find the fundraisers that we host to be the greatest benefit to our community. Events like the Charleston Animal Society Chili Cook-Off, which raises over $500,000 for our local pet population, and the numerous races, fun runs, and walks benefiting local nonprofits. Even privately held green spaces are being put to work for community good. The Bend, once a hotbed of criminal activity, has been transformed into an open space for events. The solar eclipse was viewed by thousands there, and every month at no cost to the city, community concerts are held as part of the March Jam series. The space may be activated for commercial use one day, but until then, the Bend is a definite asset. Recreation in North Charleston extends much farther than just our park system. We have committed resources, unlike most cities in South Carolina, to providing activities after school and during the summer outside of athletics. We provide these programs at a low cost to ensure our city's kids remain in a safe and productive environment. I'm particularly proud of our summer camps. Spread throughout 20 community centers in the city, 750 kids attend for 8 weeks. It's far from a babysitting service. The kids participate in daily educational activities and weekly field trips. They receive 2 meals a day through a partnership with Low Country Food Bank. Building lasting bonds has become the hallmark of the summer camp program. Over the course of the summer, the kids interact with city staff, like police and fire, to better understand that we are all working on their behalf, that police officers are here to help. Becoming more dynamic and meeting the arts enrichment needs of our city, your Cultural Arts Department has greatly expanded offerings, which culminates in the North Charleston Arts Festival. Unlike other art festivals, which are only accessible to those able to pay for high-priced tickets in exclusive venues, the North Charleston Arts Festival, at its core, is meant to bring arts to the average Jane. The annual multi-day celebration of arts and culture highlights national, regional, and local artists and performers in the areas of dance, music, theater, visual arts, media arts, and literature. For 35 years, the festival has made quality arts programming affordable and accessible to the widest spectrum of the public to experience an array of performances, workshops, exhibitions, and activities in a variety of venues, including libraries, community centers, schools, civic auditoriums, and parks. Programs throughout the year, like the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. concert and children's theater, ensures a wide variety of programming to a diverse audience, like North Charleston itself. Increased quality of place goes hand in hand with a robust economy. Jobs continue to move into North Charleston, providing opportunity for residents, high school graduates, and the like. Our large employers are essential, but it's the small businesses in our community that makes us great. Remaining inclusively business-friendly, North Charleston is enabling the little guy to start a business here, provide for their family, and grow. The appeal of North Charleston is exemplified in the Park Circle community. The resurgence of the neighborhood did not happen by accident. In the 90s, Park Circle was an aging community, devoid of identity, and quite frankly, lacked viable businesses to entice young families and professionals to the area. It hasn't occurred overnight, but a deliberate approach with key investments in the community has drawn a diverse mix of businesses and individuals. Where businesses once stood vacant, local restaurants flourish, and where sleepy shops once were located, exciting new boutiques have sprouted. And the success of Park Circle and East Montague is breathing new life into other areas of the city. Spruill Avenue has organically become a hotbed of economic activity overnight. Lifestyle businesses like Holy City Brewing, Firefly, and Codfather are soon to open. These companies may not have the worldwide name recognition like Boeing, but to us, they're just as important. Local entrepreneurs believing in our city, making new investments into once blighted areas breeds transformation. There's no doubt that this revitalization will continue moving south, down Spruill Avenue to Reynolds Avenue and further. It's only natural, considering the southern end of the city is the undeniable center of the entire Charleston region. The city is making key investments in the south end of our city and is committed to continuing this effort. I am most excited about our partnership with Metanoia and the repurposing of the old Chicor Elementary School into a thriving center of commerce and activity. We have added recreational amenities, improved playgrounds and community centers, built basketball courts, demolished dilapidated structures, installed sidewalks, and more. Thinking a little differently than other cities, the city purchased land for the new Chicor Elementary School of Communications to be built. We donated land for the Military Magnets Athletic Program, and we've updated public service facilities like the construction of the city's newest and largest fire station, Fire Station 2. Successes are already being realized with the construction start of Restaurant Depot, a company that will soon employ 60 individuals. The city still remains committed to a grocery store, a service badly needed in that area. Until that happens, we're happy to have partners like Fresh Future Farms and others that provide fresh local produce to our residents. Our ongoing public investments, coupled with private capital, will continue to occur in the South End. In other parts of the city, new amenities will be coming online in 2018. The construction is nearly complete on our 2 new senior centers, one on Otranto Road and the other on Dorchester Road. We've always had senior adult activities within our recreational and cultural arts department, but we've never had a dedicated facility for the growing segment of the population. Once open, these centers will provide daily activities, exercise classes, and social gatherings. The compassion and hard work of the people that work on your behalf at the city is evident throughout the year. Day in and day out, our city employees exemplify public service with numerous acts of kindness that go unnoticed by the general public. Like in public works, sanitation workers like Ishmael Green routinely assist our elderly residents who may not be able to bring their roll carts to the curb. It's a simple gesture that's not required, but Ishmael always ensures the citizens' homes he visits are well served.
I was raised like that, man. Take care of your elders, respect. So I go out my way because some of them in wheelchairs, some of them are sick. So I'm like their second child. I take care of them. It's make me feel good to come to work and give a helping hand that day, you know?
In other cases, our employees take great pride in their work, no matter how simple the task. Antonio Green and his crew received a request to repaint a faded crosswalk at the corner to the Whitehall neighborhood. Without fuss, not knowing it would improve pedestrian safety, the crew completed the task and received great praise from the neighborhood.
It's a priority to us is to make sure that we make sure that the people that lives in the city of North Charleston are safe. So they definitely needed a crosswalk here to protect them and to make the drivers aware that people cross here.
Remember, our police officers are humans too, with families, kids, and pets just like you. They care immensely about their job in this community, but the praise is often missed for our officers who go to work every day to make our place better. Getting a police officer to brag on themselves is nearly impossible. One instance that did come to light during the year was from Officer Martha Lowndes. From Officer Lowndes' regular patrols, she came to know Priscilla, who had contracted an infection in her foot. Officer Lowndes checked on her regularly, took her topical sprays, bought her snacks, but the infection became severe. Priscilla was reluctant to seek medical attention. It was their relationship that they had built that convinced Priscilla to seek help, most likely saving her life.
The people I work with are honestly, they're some of the greatest people I know, and I know officers that do stuff like I did for Priscilla that do that kind of stuff every single day. And it's just because they all have good hearts. They're good people.
It's the relationships that our officers build every day that help keep our community safe. We believe that one officer can make a difference. Our COPS athletic program, designed specifically to reach our young boys and girls, is stronger than ever and continues to grow. Our officers take off-duty time to coach kids. We now have leagues like basketball, powder puff football, lacrosse, and even a spelling bee competition. These students walked away with valuable lessons in teamwork and communication. We are so proud of them. Our community stays strong only with the full participation of the folks that live within it. Citizens like Herman Geddes, who observed an elderly female in a ditch across from the old fire department. Mr. Geddes contacted an officer and escorted him to the location. The elderly female was sitting in the base of the ditch with her lower body submerged in water. Rescue efforts began and the elderly female was transported for medical treatment and evaluation. Mr. Geddes' willingness to get involved in an incident that had no direct impact on himself lends to the character and reminds others that humanity is alive in North Charleston. Our fire department, under Chief Bolano's leadership, has developed to meet the demands of our modern city. The assumption is always that our firefighters simply fight fires, but in North Charleston, that's hardly the case. Through professional and personal advancement, many of our fire personnel have become dual trained, becoming EMTs as well. For our citizens, this means faster, more advanced medical care during times of trauma. In July, Engine 202 with 2 MTs on board, Calvin Bennikin and Benjamin Siegel, responded to a worker with his arm injured in a piece of machinery. Utilizing their medical training, they were able to apply a tourniquet, slow the bleeding, and save the man's life.
So we got dispatched to the initial call. It came out as an individual that possibly was entrapped in a piece of machinery. We arrived on scene. He was already out of the machinery and had a severe damage to one of his arms. And I instructed my guys, we already know what we had coming to the scene, to get a tourniquet ready. We arrived on scene, saw what we had, applied the tourniquet, notified dispatch. The tourniquet was applied. All this was done before EMS got on scene. Once EMS got on scene, they took over patient care. The patient was transported to the hospital.
Since our fire stations are strategically positioned throughout the city, our fire personnel has the ability to arrive on scene well before our EMS partners, leading to a quicker response when lives are on the line. The acts of kindness and service happen every day throughout the city and from within every department in City Hall. From our procurement department to the planning and zoning personnel, we're all working in sync to make our place in this world even better. I love and cherish the city, and I thank you all for allowing me the privilege to serve as your mayor. I have great hope for the future of North Charleston, and working together, it will be even brighter. God bless and good night. Can we get Tony T out of the room? Tony, you got to come around. You're too short. Tony is an addition to our staff who has expertise in filming and actually came from one of the TV stations. And he's doing an excellent job working with Ryan. And he sort of produced what you just heard. And people like Tony and the other employees that work for us are the reason we are accomplishing what we are. We can't do it in and of ourselves. And so on behalf of this council, who does a very active role in helping us prepare for not just today, but for the future as well, we want to thank each of our employees for their contributions to making North Charleston just a little bit better. Thank you, Tony. We're fixing to conduct business. Anybody that wants to leave, we will not be offended. All right?
Item one.
He's got to get back in there, I think.
Item one is a request to approve the minutes.
There you go.
Thank you. Oh, sure, you know the mayor's works. Is there a request to approve the minutes from the January 11th, 2017 City Council meeting?
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any corrections or questions? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Ms. Williams? Mr. Hart is Mr. Hart is here, excuse me. Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
By the way, Councilman King asked that we explain that he's not here tonight. He has developed a case of the flu.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Keep him in your thoughts and prayers.
Item 2 is the final reading of an ordinance to amend the Horizon Village Plan Development District, TMS numbers shown, with regard to accessible and affordable housing units, Council District 7 and 10.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Ms. Williams? Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summers?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Item 3 is the final reading of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to grant a water line easement to CWS to service the senior center at Dorchester Road.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 4 is the final reading of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute all documents necessary to grant an ingress-egress easement to Harborstone LLC for access to Wellborn Village from Palmetto Commerce Parkway.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson?
Aye.
Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I think we've discussed these. Items number 5 through 9. Can we take those by title only?
Without objection, we sure shall. Items 5 through 9, Madam Clerk.
Item 5 is the first reading of an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to extend the lease agreement for the former City Hall building and to pay a commission as set forth in the commission agreement. Item 6 is the first reading of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary and appropriate to extend the license agreement with the Stingrays hockey team for an additional year with 2 one-year options. Item 7 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an LED lighting agreement with SCE&G for LED lighting on Blue House Road extension. Number 8 is a resolution accepting portions of Blue House Road and Weber Boulevard into the city. And number 9 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute appropriate documents with the South Carolina Department of Transportation for the transfer of rights of way of Mixon Avenue and Williams Avenue into the city system. Was that it, 5 through 9?
Yes. Your motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on any of the items? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 10.
10 through 12.
10 through 12, by title.
Item 10 is a request to approve change order number 1 for renovations to quarters L in an amount not to exceed $71,000. Number 11 is a request to award the bid for the construction of a basketball court at Wayland Park to Paramount Building Group LLC, Charleston, South Carolina, in the amount of $113,000. Number 12 is a request to standardize Pierce manufactured apparatus equipment as the city's standard operating equipment and authorize the purchase of a rescue fire apparatus from Pierce Manufacturing in the amount of $898,000.
Your motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'm an aye with the exception of number 10 as a nay.
Thank you, sir. Any other? Hearing none, the clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown? Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Mr. Olds?
Aye with the exception of 10 and nay.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion carries as shown.
Mayor Summy,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to make a motion that we accept the appointment of our municipal clerk. I just call her Ellen.
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
Yeah.
I thought y'all were
I'll
going to
take
offer
it.
me that job. You want it? No. Okay. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Mayor Summy, I would like to make a motion that we nominate Councilwoman Rhonda Jerome as Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll vote on making her Mayor Pro Tem by acclamation.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Jerome?
Aye.
Ms. Jamison?
Aye.
Mr. Brinson? Mr. Olds?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Hart?
Aye.
Mr. Skipper?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mayor Summy?
Aye.
Yes.
Motion carries
Thank you.
unanimously.
All right.
We have one speaker, sir.
We have one speaker. Remind you, you have 2 minutes. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and give us your remarks. Pastor Randy Moore. Pastor Moore here. Hearing nothing else, anything to come before the body?
Mayor Summy, I
Yes,
would just
ma'am.
like to say, my 20-odd years on council, your state of address are the most fun to listen to. I mean, it's short, quick, nice, and informative, and very enjoyable, right to the point.
Well, I remember the first time I gave a State of the City 23 years ago. It was so long and
That's
boring, I
right.
went to sleep. So, you know, it's sort of rough. It's not about numbers. It's about service and what we're doing in the community and building relationships with everybody within the city. And so we've changed it over the years, but each time we try to use it as something that can be left on the internet for the entire year. And so when people start looking up and thinking about moving to North Charleston, they've got an opportunity to go on the web page and talk about some of the things that are going on in our community to make sure this is the type of place they want to move to and live. So thank you very much for that. Anything else? Everybody else? All right, meeting's adjourned. Thank you all very much.